Welcome to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. This podcast was created for the boomer woman leaving corporate, and now you're looking to reinvent yourself, become an author, an entrepreneur, a podcaster. Well, each episode will leave you with clarity. You will come away with the yes, I can and yes, I will reinvent myself mindset. So come on, let's do this. I'm your host, Margot Levette. Sponsors for Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation are Podcast Academy Online. Learn to podcast like an adult, built for the busy entrepreneur or the hobbyist. Visit our membership community at podcastacademyonline.com. And Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout, the easiest, best way to promote and track your podcast. Your show could be online, listed in all of the major directories like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Get your $20 Amazon gift card for signing up. The link is in the show notes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Well, today is a very different type of conversation. We're still talking about reinvention, and we're definitely talking about entrepreneurship. Let me tell you, this lady is a sustainable TV, film, event, product placement producer. That's a mouthful, but she builds brands. Let me tell you, this is a brand builder. So let me introduce everybody. Debbie Durkin, one of LA's leading sustainable placement producers. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you, Margo. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm excited to speak with you and your listeners.
Well, you are a bright light in this thing of Hollywood. The studio here is located not too far away from Hollywood, but I've never had someone come on from the industry. So, Debbie, I know that there are a lot of people who are actors, actresses, producers, but how did you decide, I think I'm going to get into product placement. I think I'm going to move into this thing of Hollywood and just make it work and make it work? You have done just that. So give us some background.
Well, I was trained in college as an artist and eventually switched into photography and then wound up working with my family and their business and started a modeling and talent agency in Chicago, which was one of the top places in the Midwest to start your career. We groomed a lot of models in the Midwest for foreign markets, Europe and Asia, Tokyo and Osaka, and I sent over 400 kids overseas in the 10 and a half years I was in Chicago. But we had a lot of commercial photography. New York was the fashion, and Paris was the fashion. We were more the commercial, the all-American McDonald's, apple pie, and the American flag kind of photography. So we did a lot of catalog photography. We did about 78 Sears catalogs a year was one of our clients. And we had McCormick Place there, which was the largest convention hall in the country at the time in 1979 when I started my agency. And we had trade shows every week. There weren't any other destinations like Vegas or Florida open yet to doing the trade shows. Everyone came to Chicago and did trade shows. So I booked a lot of trade show models that eventually became actors because they had to do hosting and speaking and a very big commercial department. So we had all the ad agencies there. We had lots of diversity going on in Chicago. We started one of the first plus-size models in the city. And from that experience, I met quite a few agents overseas. I was booked to go out of town a lot on speaking engagements, so I wound up lecturing in about 99 cities in 3 countries on the business of being a model and an actor. I taught a class at night at the Learning Annex of how you can get into the industry, because not every person who has an interest in the entertainment industry winds up becoming an on-camera talent. There's many other jobs that someone who's creative can do: production designer, an editor, a still photographer, a cinematographer. And these are things, director, writer, producer. These people were not aware of that. So I expanded my knowledge base by through traveling and interviewing over 2 million kids one-on-one, and making a lot of connections along the way. And in 1989, I represented a couple of sisters that were 8 and 10 years of age, and they had an opportunity to star in a television series with NBC in Los Angeles, and with the very young Mayim Bialik, who's known as, she had just wrapped her role as young Bette Midler in Beaches, the movie. And on that wave of success during the writer's strike, which we thought the whole industry was going to fold, I found the silver lining and took 7 actors west on a whim, Labor Day week, and in 3 full business days got 7 jobs for these actors on camera in NYPD Blue, in General Hospital, in Days of Our Lives, major shows.
Wow.
And I thought, the bug kind of bit me when I came to L.A., so I went back to Chicago and announced I was going to open up what I thought would be a branch office in Los Angeles. We had scripted shows only at that time. There was no reality shows. There was scripted shows. And so there was a pilot season that would run January through April or May every year, and that's when all the TV shows would cast their new players. And so pilot season was the busiest time for casting, and I thought I was just going to have a temporary office there during pilot season. Well, I came back January 15th, 58 actors, writers, and directors came with me. It was a huge following. And on the first day in my office, walked into Beverly Hills. 3 hours later, I booked one of my character actors on a recurring role with Married with Children that is still rerunning today in 2020.
That is incredible.
It's an incredible story.
I have to stop you right there. I mean, success all along the way. I had no idea, because I'm from the Midwest also, but completely out of that industry that you're in. I had no idea that Chicago, that right there in the Midwest, all of that was going on. I mean, the catalog work, McCormick Place, I remember, huge. But you were like the Pied Piper, so if you were leaving Chicago, who wouldn't follow you? I mean, you come with such a heavy resume, I would have thrown all bets on you, too. I just have to tell you that. So,
thank you.
You came to California. Oh, no, it's just true. I mean, business is business, and you obviously know your way around commercial. So now, when you moved to L.A., you didn't miss a beat. You made life exceptionally wonderful for so many people, and you reinvented yourself. So as you were making life so much better for all of these other people, getting them in jobs, I mean, they weren't starving artists out here. What was going on inside with you as a person, Debbie?
Well, when I came out here, it was very scary because I wasn't prepared for the adjustment to the lifestyle. And when you come from the Midwest, you come from sort of a narrow outlook on life, the white picket fence, and all of a sudden you're in Los Angeles, which is the capital of the entertainment industry, lots of liberal free-thinking. And it was an adjustment socially for me. And I went back and forth for a couple years, and it was really, I was working way too much. I didn't pay attention to self-care, and I knew that coming out to LA, I would have to find a way to support myself. So I actually worked 3 part-time jobs, but never told my clients that I was working those jobs because I had to pay for not only the office in Beverly Hills, which is the most expensive place to go, which is where I went, and also the office in Chicago. And so it was very stressful for me, but I always would wake up every morning grateful for every day that I got, every breath that I took, and always focused on the end result and tried very hard to live in the present moment. That's key in building any kind of business. You know, I always say to people, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a plan B. Because if you have a plan B, you're not an entrepreneur. you have to go. I don't believe in coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. And I knew that all the experience, real life experience that I garnered in my travels and working with agents from every corner of the planet in every genre, multimedia platforms, that I was meant to be in Los Angeles, which was the capital and still is the capital of the entertainment industry, and to be here working with the people that I belong to work with. You've got to follow your heart when you're living your life. If you're not living your true self, you're not living. And I feel very strongly that the majority of our planet is not living their true self. So I'm very focused. I'm really tenacious. I'm quite stubborn. And I knew that I wanted to be in this industry. I always knew somehow that I wanted to be a producer, and this was going to be my vehicle to get to that destination.
Yes. Wow. Tenaciousness, a lot of grit. And thank you for your honesty. You had 3 part-time jobs. You know how many people really would not admit that, because they always think it happened overnight. They are an overnight sensation. Mm-hmm. She left Chicago and everything just fell into place. Boom, boom, boom. It took time, strategic, intentional movement on your part. But tell us about the day that you understood that product placement producer, this is what I'm doing, and I'm locking in. I'm all in.
Well, around 2001 and 2, I was starting to get a little discouraged with the agency life. It's very tough because you work only for 10%, and it's a lot of work. And you might have the most talented actor in the business, but maybe that their competition is friends with the director or son of the producer, and they get the booking. So not everybody in Los Angeles that's the most talented person gets hired. It's a lot of who you know, and you do have to be aware of that. It is a real entity. And so I was starting to get a little disgruntled, so I actually went and took some real estate classes and thought maybe I'll come out of the business for a while and sell some real estate. And a writer that I knew from Chicago who was in New York writing off Broadway plays called me up and said, I have a producer I want you to meet. This was the day of my exam that he called me for my real estate exam. And I said, okay, well, I figured, there's no accidents. I can always reschedule the exam. You can take it whenever you want. So I went to meet this producer who was producing a National Lampoon movie. And we talked and talked. It went on for several months. I continued with my real estate. And about 2 weeks prior to the shoot date, he called me up and said, we just lost our third investor. And we're signed with the Actors Union, SAG and AFTRA, to move forward, whether we get the funding or not. They were locked in by contract to pay or play the actors they hired. Everyone had their schedule. So I said, send me the script. So the director sent me the script. I looked at it, and I saw an opportunity in the script to put a brand in the film. And so I had been reading a lot about branded integration and product placement, which was practically non-existent back then. And I thought this would be a great opportunity, so I just took a chance and called up a company that I thought would be a good fit, and they agreed to pay for a branded integration into the film. And some of the people that I knew, the publicist for the brand, her husband was a commercial real estate developer in Indiana. He wanted to be an investor in the film, and then another friend wanted to be an investor. So I wound up raising quite a lot of money and for the film, and saved the film from demise. And so National Lampoon made me a co-producer of the film. While I was on set shooting in Venice Beach with my Labrador at my feet, I got my cell phone rang, and this was 2004, and it was Jack Gilardi Sr., who was one of the top talent agents in the country at ICM. He said, listen, I hear you're the new kid on the block with the money. He said, I represent Sylvester Stallone, and we are producing Rocky Balboa, which is going to be the last Rocky movie. And we just lost our brand that was supposed to be our ring mat sponsor. Do you think you can help? He goes, no, Debbie, don't waste my time. I'm an A-list agent, and I know you're the new kid on the block. He said, so you either have someone or you don't. I said, I know just the brand. I had just put them into the Lampoon movie. It was a different brand I had put in. And I called it the brand in Canada. And within 2 weeks, I brought in $500,000 into the film.
Oh, my goodness.
And goldenpalace.com is the brand and the ring mat sponsor. I wound up getting quite a few placements for it, not just on the ring mat, but the logo is on Polly's brim of his upturned fedora, and Sly wrote in some ring girls, and the goldenpalace.com logo is tattooed on their chest. And wound up going to Mandalay Bay for a week as they filmed the last scene in Rocky Balboa first, which is still running on HBO today. And goldenpalace.com's business membership exploded 72 hours after the film premiered in December. I think it was 2005 that it premiered, or 2006. Not sure the actual year, but around there. And my career was made. Next thing I know, I'm being introduced to Stu Cornfield, who is Ben Stiller's partner in DreamWorks, to work on the Blades of Glory movie with Will Ferrell and John Heber. And I brought in some of the brands to do the ice rink signage on the side of the ring. And then Bonnie Hunt called me from her TV show. Then Ricky Lake's producer called me. Then the Today Show called me, and here I am.
Wow. I hear you just move from one plateau to the next. First thing that comes to my mind is the grit that you have and the consistency. Now, when you got disillusioned, or maybe not even disillusioned, it was just time for you to get out of the agency work. You didn't just fold. You were moving into real estate, but you were open to this opportunity, and you used that word, opportunity. You saw an opportunity. You, lady, took a chance, and look at you now. Oh, my goodness. What a story. I love it. Oh. So, Debbie, this is some exciting stuff, because, I remember we always see the Starbucks cups and, of course, Coca-Cola and the cereal boxes. And I always thought, man, how lucky is that product to be in that movie? Little did I know is Debbie Durkin probably the reason why that product is even there. I'm listening to how you built your career. You reinvented yourself. Those same principles, Debbie, that you use to reinvent yourself, become a product placement producer. Is it possible that we can use those same principles to build to produce our books? Of course, it won't be in film duplicating what you're doing, but can we use those same principles and get some eyes on our work in other industries? Does that make any sense?
I agree. I think anybody can use this, no matter what your passion is or what you want to do with your life. And kids that are in their 20s, you're not supposed to know what you want. You're too young to know, even in your 30s. No one can predict what the next hour in their life is going to bring. Life is completely unpredictable. And I don't believe in coincidences, as I said earlier in this conversation. I believe that things happen for a reason. And given the recent onset of the pandemic, I think it's given us pause and an opportunity to introspect, to do more self-care. Yes, there's a lot of downsides to it. People are losing their jobs and all that, but the silver lining is always what I go for. What is the upside here? What is in this that can help me? How can I be a better person? I've become a much more purposeful producer than ever before. You must be current with the times. Don't worry about yesterday and your past. Walk away. Move forward. Don't worry about the future. Worry about today. Right now, how do you feel? You think you might want to do photography? Get on that internet and research yourself to death. Research. We didn't have the internet back in the 70s and 80s. I had to go out and network and travel. We are blessed with this internet. It's the greatest gift. Anybody can go and Google anything. Mm-hmm. Get on there and research. You can teach yourself. If you don't have money to go to college, get on there and read as much as you can. Create relationships. A very good resource for business is LinkedIn.com. I use it quite a bit. Yes. And that's a great place to meet other like-minded individuals that all want to be successful and give back and make the world a better place. Surround yourself with people that uplift you. Don't hang on to haters or toxic environments, and just stay focused. Have faith. If you lose faith, you're going to lose your focus. My father was my best mentor and my best friend, and I miss him terribly. He passed away years ago, and he would say to me, Debbie, if you love what you do, it's called passion, not stress. And I say that to myself over and over again when I really get overwhelmed with work. Because as you know, in the industry, it's all or nothing. You either are really busy or there's nothing going on. So this new normal that we're going to has been my world forever. It's not anything new to me. Normal's never been in my vocabulary. So it's just like, okay, what direction am I going to go in now? And product placement, or may I never imagine in my life, I didn't even know what it was until 2004. Mm-hmm. I never heard of that. And I never imagined I would be doing this, but I was able to sell. I've always been in the service business, so I can sell something that you can't see, taste, feel, or hear. And it's an opportunity for me to create all these relationships I've created with the segment producers and television networks, the film producers, the agents, and then eventually the PR people, that I could be a bridge in LA for brands who want to get connected and to achieve relevance in what is now online a very overwhelming, overcrowded marketplace. How do I stand out from the rest? Beauty is a very tough industry. How many skincare brands have you seen that we still will see coming out? How do you know which one to go to? Placing a brand in a show validates that brand to the viewer. Yes. Product placement is the most cost-effective, powerful way for you to get your brand out there. And we can create content from that TV show or that film or podcast and put it into social and use it unlimited usage in perpetuity, that social content. Because whoever you align yourself with, if you do a celebrity alignment, everyone knows that when a celebrity gets married or divorced or they have a baby or they pass away, their status elevates. Yeah. If you look at the Yahoo homepage every morning, you see 12 top items trending. Mm-hmm. And you'll see in the first 1 and 2 positions, most often an actor. Coronavirus, I think, is number 3 or 4 on Yahoo today. You see? In our political year, most charged political year ever, 2016, between Clinton and Trump, who was trending number 1 the week before the election? A TV reality star. Mm. So this is television reflects the current American society. And I tell people that want to do they want to make their own olive oil, or they want to provide a spa service, or open up a resort, or create a new kind of electric bicycle, or a tech app. You are the master of your own brand. Build it. Don't wait for anyone to start out. We didn't have this opportunity in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. People now can do it on their own. Look how much they can mileage they can get on social. on social media doing it themselves. So I encourage everybody to not ever give up, but start it out on your own. And then as you meet people along the way, you might want to partner with somebody that can help you with certain promotion. I like to work with different people that need me at different times. I think it's more meaningful to do that. It's better for the brand. There might be a brand that's been around, a corporate brand that's been around for quite a long time that wants to go green. Well, that's my wheelhouse. I chose to be an eco-friendly producer years ago from the beginning. And so I'm partial to brands that are good for the environment, good for the home, good for the family, the kids, even the pets. I became an official ABC producing partner last summer, and I produce a segment on ABC4 called ECOLUXE Must-Have, products that are just that, products that give back. Generation Z, the Zoomers, and I'm a Generation B, the Boomer, is Generation Z wants to purchase products that are purposeful, that give back, that share. Look at all the movements that have been happening, that have been coming out of this pandemic, that have, unfortunately, with the death of George Floyd, hashtag Black Lives Matters, hashtag Me Too, all these movements that come out, Feeding America, No Kid Hungry. These are things that the youngest generation on our planet wants to support those causes and those businesses. So a brand should align themselves with a nonprofit cause or several of them. You're not limited to anything. No one can tell you can't do this. People told me for years in Chicago, oh, you can't be an agent. You're too nice and you're a woman. Oh, wow. You'll never make it, Debbie. 99% of people told me that. I came to LA, I heard it more because at the time the agency business was controlled by men. Oh, they'll crush you like a bug, Debbie. You're far too nice to be an agent. You have to be somewhat tough to be able to negotiate. I would much rather swim with the sharks in the ocean in Huntington Beach, the white sharks, which love to go down there, than deal with the sharks in the agency business in Beverly Hills. It's less lethal. They're very lethal. You have to have all your wits about you. But that gave me the strength, and I think developed my tenacity, which is one of my best qualities, I think, in going forward. And I hope to inspire your listeners that they should never give up, ever. No matter, you don't know who you are. You will not find out who you are in the good times. You will find out who you are when all is lost and nothing is left and you are despairing. That's when you find out what you're made of. So these things are happening for a reason. I use 4 words. This too shall pass. Meditation daily, even if it's for 10 minutes, is very helpful. You'll find your answers in the quiet. You have to have a strong relationship with God. I'm very much a believer in that. And have faith. And I think if you have those qualities and a little bit of tenacity and grit, you'll be successful no matter what it is you choose. And you might choose it for 2 months and switch it and do something else for 6 more years. It doesn't matter. Don't listen to what people are saying to you. Listen and follow your heart and find a way to survive in this world, because hope and faith doesn't pay the rent. You need to find a way to make those things happen so you have a space where you can have that's just your own and you can create.
You really are teaching. You are teaching us how to use our drive, tap into our grit, be sure to latch on to our passion. And you did all of this in a very, very tough, shark-infested neighborhood, Hollywood. Kudos to you, Debbie. So, if you could do that in Hollywood, surely someone else can do that in whatever neighborhood, whatever business they are in, selling their book, whatever. I hope everybody caught that. She she really made it tangible how she was successful with building a business outside of the comfort of Chicago, the familiarity of Chicago, and really brought it home to us that she reinvented and did it. We can also, and she gave us all of the main ingredients. Debbie Durkin, how can a person get in contact with you? Are you writing a book? Surely there's a film that's coming out about you. There has to be some way that we can continue to chart your steps.
Thank you. No, I'm not writing a book, and there's not going to be a film coming. I'm one producer that has chosen not to be in the spotlight. I prefer life that way. I'm happiest with my 2 white labs at my feet running on a beach. And I would prefer that kind of personal, quiet life over the glitz and glamour of the red carpet any day. I want my clients on the red carpet. But thank you for that. People can reach me on my website, durkinentertainmentgroup.com. I'm pretty much on the internet. My social ID is at producer Deb, D-E-B, on Instagram and Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook under Debbie Durkin, and also the name of the company, Durkin Entertainment. I'm on Linktree. So I have quite a few social media sites where people can find me, and my contact information is on all those sites.
All right. I will make sure that I have it included in the show notes. I can't thank you enough for the richness of this conversation and really demystifying what's really going on in Hollywood. And, everybody doesn't have a story that ends up like yours. I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation because I'm sure that there are people in Hollywood right now that need to hear your story, that need to have some glimmer of hope. And if I hold on, that this too shall pass. So,
thank you. I didn't learn these things that I know now easily. It's been a very bumpy ride. But I can tell you that we are every human being is born into the world. God gives each one of us everything that we need to survive in this world. Unfortunately, the majority of the people are controlled by what other people say, or maybe they're controlled by a controlling parent or a spouse, and they're too afraid to leave their comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And I think that if I can inspire one person to leave, then this will be an effective broadcast for you. I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to find out what it is that you're meant to do. Everybody here has a purpose in life. It's up to you to find out what it is. And that takes a lot of grit and tenacity and getting up. As they say in Rocky, it's not how hard you can take the punches, it's how hard you can take them and how many times you can get up. And basically, that slide's been a great inspiration for me. So I really hope that this can help people move forward. You do what you want to do and find a way to live in this world that gets you there. I don't care if it means working in the McDonald's drive-thru. Never have an attitude that you're better than someone else, that you're too good to be doing something, because you need to survive and in order to achieve your dream. But it's all possible for every person. It's just that certain people are born into different situations and they don't know their way out. Not everyone has internet.
True. I'm going to stop you right there because, Debbie, you have given, if a person is really listening with their mind, soul, body, their spirit, their total being, you've given them enough food to feed them. Now, go chew, go and digest. Do take this in so that you can go and move the way you're supposed to, move with purpose. So, once again, Debbie Durkin, LA's leading sustainable TV, film, and event product placement producer. Appreciate the conversation greatly. I have learned and grown myself. I always tell everybody you have to listen to these episodes more than one time because my guests bring on so much information, and today is no exception. So I'm Margot Levette. I have to say bye-bye until next week. I'll be back with another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. In the meantime, do stay safe. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
I want to thank you for listening to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Couple of things that I want you to do right now. Go to my website, pick up a copy of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, how I went from game show hopping to international show host, author, and speaker in 1 year. Number 2, please freely listen to each and every episode. Share them out with your family, friends, the men in your lives. And then number 3, get in contact with me, one of the experts that have been on the show, because I want to make sure that you reinvent yourself. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode here on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation.